to the recording. Everyone, welcome. It's Tuesday, the 25th of September. I want to begin the call by saying congratulations to the Bay Area group. A much-deserved success from all the hard work they've been putting in to create a movement and some change in their area up there in San Francisco. They recently had a team event with 100 people, almost 50% attendance with guests, which is phenomenal. Yeah. If there's ever anything we want to accomplish, it's those kind of ratios, isn't it? To have the room literally half filled with guests. So I want to say a big thank you to them, a big congratulations, well deserved for all the effort they've been putting in. Working together as a group really has paid off for them. If there is anything you can take away from it, what can I do to get those kind of results? It's simply this: speak to more people and extend more invitations. Yeah, it really does come down to that. Extend more invitations. I want to start by just sharing a quick lesson that I've been able to pass on. It's a straightforward one, but it's a common one with some mentoring that I've been doing with a couple of people over this past week that have shared a similar kind of challenge inadvertently, where they have goals to rank advance, get to the next level in their business. And they want to do that with some speed, with some urgency, because they're filled with enthusiasm, which is absolutely fabulous and wonderful. But the goal in regards to the activity that they were committing to on a weekly basis was not in parallel to what was required to get the results that they needed. They had a great goal. It was clear, it was specific, but the activity that they were committing to wasn't aligned. And it wasn't because they were not wanting to put the effort in. Perhaps they didn't know what was truly required. It was, I'll speak to, for example, 10 people a week versus 10 people a day. If I'm going to really crank this up. If you want to crank things up in your business, you don't do that by speaking to one person a day. Yeah, one person a day doesn't change your numbers. It helps you to maintain your business, get a fraction of improvement, but it's not going to see the world change. It's not going to take you from silver to gold or gold to platinum. We need to change those types of numbers. So something to consider there is that old adage: if I always do what I've always done, I'll always get what I've always got. Yeah. So if you're not happy with the results, then we've got to look at where in that cycle of activity is my behavior or my activity inadequate. And often it's not a matter of us not doing it right. Often it's a matter of us not doing enough. I posted something on Facebook the other day that seemed to generate a lot of interest. Don't complain about the results you're not getting from the work you're not doing. Yeah. I'll say that again. Don't complain about the results you're not getting from the work you're not doing. I want to talk a little bit about this today because I believe that we are indeed the captains of our own fate and the destiny and the definitely in charge of our own destinies. And I want to make sure that we pursue that in a way that gives us real confidence that we can get the outcomes that we are seeking. So I want to share with you a couple of thoughts, and hopefully in doing this, we can make some adjustments to how we think, feel, or believe in order to get the results that we're after. Because I know specifically with those that I'm mentoring right now, all of them are highly capable, highly confident, very skilled, very able-bodied people. And it is my deepest, greatest desire to help each of them. So what I've often said on these calls is, from the lessons that I learn as I do my mentoring each week, I will often go, I'm going to share this in an appropriate way with the collective because I know that it relates to other people. I know that it's not an isolated concern or an isolated lesson. To that end, if you're on the call and you hear me sharing one of our lessons that we've discussed together, I want you to take courage. Yeah, that in the sharing, you know that what I'm demonstrating is what you may or may not have experienced is not an isolated thing. One of the greatest things that I've learned is the assurance that often comes to others when they're striving and they realize that the obstacles that they're facing or the lessons that they're learning aren't necessarily unique. It's almost like a weight gets lifted off their shoulders. And they go, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this. This makes sense. I'm glad about this. So it makes me feel good. Yeah. Not that we want others to be struggling too, but that it validates our journey. It validates the lessons and the barriers that we come across. Because often on our journey to success, to achieving our goals, to getting that rank advancement or achieving an incentive qualification, for example, what typically happens is there are lessons along that road that we aren't aware exist. We don't know they're there. We're blind to them because we haven't experienced it yet. So we will stub our toe and trip over a few of these rocks along the way and wonder if it's just us walking blindly down the path, when in fact it's actually a part of the journey. Yeah. So like I said, I share it because it's everyone's path. Yeah. So, okay, so here are my steps that I want to share today. I've made a couple of notes. And this is what I've entitled here, 7 steps to accomplishing your dream. And excuse me, like I said, I share this in relation to those that I've been mentoring a little bit these past couple of weeks. So hopefully this can be taken as a collective team call, and it can also be taken a little bit as a one-on-one coaching session too. Yeah, so we can look at this as a one-on-one session with just you and me while we go through this. So I'd like you to grab, if you have it possible, handy, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, or make some notes on your laptop. My throat has suddenly gone really dry. Bear with me. Okay, excuse me. Okay, step number 1. Give yourself permission to dream. It seems like a simple thing. Give yourself permission to dream. There are things that we want, things that we aspire to having, things that we wish for, perhaps. But there is a difference, in my experience, between a wish and a dream. A wish is something like people go, I want to win the lottery. Yeah. Maybe they'll buy a lottery ticket. Yeah. It gives them a glimmer of hope, a kind of a, it's a wisp, isn't it? A wish. It's almost like a wisp of mist that we try to hold on to, but we can't quite latch on. But we can see it, we can feel it a little bit, and that's about as far as it goes. This isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that is meaningful and concrete. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Now, once we give ourselves permission to do this, and I say give ourselves permission because often we can inhibit or prohibit ourselves from doing this because of self-belief. We don't believe that our dream can come true, or we don't believe that we're worthy to have the dream that we have. Yeah. And that's a big one. Sometimes life experiences can change our perception of ourselves. We start out as little kids with dreams to become astronauts, doctors, physicians, veterinary, doctors, and so on. And people that want to leave a legacy and make a difference in the world. And as we get older, for some reason, we settle, and those dreams fade away. And a lot of that is the result of life beats it out of us, doesn't it? It kind of knocks the wind out of our sails. I want to say, let's start by turning our sail to get the wind into it. Yeah. And let's get the wind back in to give us some momentum. Let's be willing to turn our back to the bruises and the scars of the past, and face a new day, and be willing to let ourselves dream again. And with that, dream bigger. I'd also say dream bigger to the point that it might even scare you just a little bit. Yeah. I think it's great when people have these dreams and ambitions. And again, I refer with great enthusiasm to some of these recent mentoring calls that I've had, where people have shared with me their goals, and you can hear the nervousness. You can sense both the excitement and the trepidation at the same time. And I love that, because that to me shows that there is substance to the aspiration. So if it scares you a little bit, if you can reach over, give yourself a pat on the back, because that's how it should be. It should scare you just a little bit. Step 2, believe that it will happen. Believe that it will happen. And then visualize yourself in a dream realized state. What does that mean? It means, and I think one of the best times to go to bed, to do this, is perhaps when you go to bed and you lie down at night, is you kind of lie down, put your sleep mask on, close your eyes, yeah, and you get under your comforter, and you're all nice and toasty warm, and you're nice and relaxed. You just had your Pine Mag water, and you're feeling really good. And now you just close your eyes, and then you visualize. And you project yourself forward, and you think as if you are there already, that you are now the platinum, that you are now the diamond. What does it feel like? Don't just imagine visually what it looks like. What does it feel like? How does it feel to you to be in that state? What emotions does this create in your heart? Now, there's a caveat to this. The challenge with this task is it conflicts with our wonderful sleep system, which helps you get a good night's sleep. Because, as Tessa Gray has just said, I'm buzzing. The challenge with it is it might get a little bit exciting, and you might find yourself unable to get to sleep. Yeah, as comfortable as you are, because you can project and you can see in your mind's eye, and you want to be as specific as possible, a little bit like an architect building a house. At first you do some basic drawings, don't you? You conceptualize, but you don't jump from conceptualization right into getting the bricks and laying a foundation and all that kind of stuff. You've got to map it all out. And this is the challenge a lot of the time for people in their dreams, is they will conceptualize, and then their dream stops there. And it's very hard to believe that that dream will come true when it doesn't go beyond concept. You've got to start drawing a blueprint. Get specific. Then you've got to work out your costs. Then you've got to figure out how much materials you need. How long is the project going to take? What resources do I need? What special help and skill sets do I need to pull in to make it happen? As you start to go through that process, then you start to build a dream that you legitimately can believe in, because you're going through that whole process. You can't have belief that it happens if you're only conceptualizing, because that is the wish. That's the fantasy stuff. That's the buy the lottery ticket and hope you win kind of behavior. And you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning as you have in getting success in the business or in winning the lottery with that approach. It's not how it works. Okay. So we want to make sure that we believe it, and we do that by projecting forwards. And like I said, one of the best times to do that, I think, is when we go to bed at night and we lie down and we just let that, because I love the fact that that can kind of creep into our subconscious when we go to sleep. Yeah. And it becomes a part of us. Something happens then when we're thinking about something in a meaningful way, when we sleep on it. Yeah. And it's great, because when we sleep on it and then we wake up in the morning, sometimes that is when inspiration comes about what to do next, how to move forward. It can really, in my experience, be one of the vehicles for creating an avenue or a channel for inspiration to come. So let's consider that too. Step number 3, tell someone about it, and then be held accountable. And I mentioned this principle of accountability on my last call that I did, to keep in mind that accountability isn't just this principle of being held to account for when we get things wrong. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. Accountability in the context of network marketing and mentoring and coaching really means that whoever is holding you accountable takes on the wonderful privilege of becoming your greatest cheerleader. Think about that for a minute. Does that encourage you to reach out and tell someone that they have the privilege then of becoming your greatest cheerleader? Not someone that's, now a cheerleader will rally and cheer and jump and shout with enthusiasm, and they'll probably throw their hands up and cry with you when you miss a goal or when something goes wrong. And we'll all have those moments together, but that's what makes the bond, the experience so important, isn't it? Is that we're in that together. That mentor isn't just someone that knows the way, it's someone that loves you, cares for you, and wants you to succeed. Yeah, that's the critical difference. Otherwise, you can just read a load of blogs. Yeah, read something online, read a book. Yeah, but a mentor brings a different element. It's not just the skill they bring, it's their love for you. It's their desire for you to become better. That facilitates the change. That makes you want to do more, that makes you want to reach up. You don't want to disappoint them or let them down because it's a two-way street, yeah? And they want to make sure that you do your very best because of that relationship. So I encourage you to share your goal with someone so that you can be held accountable. And like I said, in the context of network marketing, that means you've just found someone that's going to be your biggest cheerleader. Point number 4, put forth the work. A dream, like I said before, is just a wish without action. Put forth the work. And again, with the accountability, and I would include with this, it's important to include introspection and reflection. I learn a lot about myself when I take the time to step back and evaluate my own performance. Yeah. And if you're going into a meeting or into a phone call or an ABC or whatever it might be that you're doing, take some time beforehand to look at what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then measure afterwards how you did. Okay. So you might say to yourself, for example, okay, for the next hour, I'm going through my contact list and I'm going to be making phone calls and setting appointments. I want to reach as many people as I can. I've got a lot to get through because I've got this goal that I'm going to achieve, and here we go. Now, before I start, I need to get myself in the right frame of mind. I find, I'm not sure about each of you, I can tell how someone's feeling when I'm speaking to them on the phone. Can you hear when someone's smiling when they're talking to you? You can, can't you? I can hear it if someone is smiling or not. It comes across in their tone of voice, in their intonation. Yeah. So I find for me, when I'm making phone calls, I get up out of my chair and I'm walking around the room because I need that extra energy. Because for me, sometimes I can get a little bit nervous making phone calls as well. And if I get sat at my desk, it's very easy after a number of calls and perhaps after a number of no's to kind of start sinking down like that. And your body language starts to reflect starts to influence your state of mind. And you want to change that. You want to make sure that your frame of mind is in charge of everything else. Yeah. So I find that I get up and kind of walk around. But again, I think that's really important. Get the work done to match the goal. Yeah. And again, don't underestimate the amount of work that's required. And I don't say that as a criticism. I don't say that to condemn in any way. It's a learning process. Yeah. But let's learn from the process. Yeah. And if we're not getting the results, let's change. And often in my experience, it really has been simply a matter of, let's just do more. You know, whatever the number of calls you're doing right now, just do more. Whatever the number of invitations you're doing right now, if you want more people coming, just do more. If you want more people attending your meeting, just ask more people to come. We can overcomplicate it sometimes in the way that we try to do the business. So I need to have another training, or I need to learn this new skill on how to do X, Y, and Z. Actually, half the time we don't. Half the time we don't. We just need the confidence and the enthusiasm and the commitment to do it. And every now and then, maybe we need the pressure of our back against the wall to get us out there and get us up and going. And that's okay as well. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, surround yourself with believers and doers so that you can attract your tribe. I like this point. Surround yourself with believers and doers. I think we've got that in our Niken group, but we also need to have that in our contact list as well, don't we? That we need to look within that list for people that are achievers and doers. I think it's important. We don't want to prejudge people, but at the same time, we want to make sure that when we're reaching out for business builders and business partners, we're trying to connect with people that are believers and people that are doers. Have a job spec, have a personality profile, understand who it is you're looking for, so that when you're reaching out, 1, you see them when they come across your path, and 2, you connect and resonate with them when you're able to speak with them. You can have that right kind of dialogue. Okay, I'm just getting a quick question here. Is there a number to call now? There's a team member who can't join via Zoom, but they can via the phone. I don't have the number off the top of my head. There you go. Thank you, Barb. There's the number. Thank you very much. Okay, number 6, and I alluded to this at the beginning, and this one I think is really, really important. These last 2 are unique points. They're not unique to us in Niken. I think they resonate with us instinctively. That's why we're in Niken, I think. But you'll get this. Number 6, know that you're worthy. Yeah, this is 7 steps to accomplishing your dreams. Know that you're worthy and that you are capable. Listen carefully to this line here, that you are capable of receiving miracles in your life. It's an interesting phrase, that I am capable of receiving miracles in my life. Sometimes people find it easy to serve others and they find it difficult to be served. Yeah. We like to do good to others, but we find it difficult if someone wants to do us a good job. It makes us feel uncomfortable. At a basic level, like paying a compliment, I can compliment people on the call very easily, but if someone turns around and goes, "Oh, I like the way your hair looks today," or "You've got a great way of doing this, that, or the other," it's very easy for us, isn't it, to go, "Oh, I don't know how to respond to that," and we dismiss it, or we kind of reject the compliment. Don't reject the miracles. Miracles can come into our lives, but we need to be open to receive them. And we become open to receiving them when we believe that we are worthy of them. Okay? I think it's really important. Understand that each and every one of us in this room, listening to this call hereafter on the recording, each and every one of us is worthy of whatever goal that you're striving to achieve in your Niken business. And that with that hard work, with that vision, with that effort, we can create a lot of success and we can open up the doors to become capable of receiving miracles in our lives and in our business. Because that's what happens, isn't it? So many times we just open up the doorway to something wonderful and miraculous happening, and then things take off. We need to have the mindset that allows that to happen. Okay, the last point, and we'll finish on this. Our time is up. Point number 7. Always be generous. Always be generous. Now, how does that apply to achieving your dreams? Because that's something all about giving out, isn't it? It's something that Kim's often commented on with me, and I share this not to blow my own trumpet, but to just illustrate a point that I've always strived to live. I can give you a simple example for my UK team, right? My UK team will appreciate this. A number of weeks ago, maybe a month or so back, we had a friend of mine called Dave Butler. came over to our event in Brighton and attended, gave some great training, didn't he? Really good training, and it was great for him to be introduced to the team, and we got a lot of value from that meeting. And that was great that he did that. He did that. He's one of the most successful networkers in the UK. He's helped create events with tens of thousands, and he's put together some of the most successful training systems in network marketing in the UK that I've come across. Fantastic, and he's become a great friend. Years before that meeting, I was going about my own business. He was going about his own business. We were both in different paths. This was after we'd worked together in a previous venture. And he was setting up his own network marketing company and wanted some advice on how to build internationally. Didn't have the commercial experience of international expansion. And he said, would you mind if we meet together and I picked your brains and what have you? And I was very busy at the time. I had a young, growing family. I had a very, very busy job. I was traveling a lot. I had very busy church responsibilities. I didn't have much free time. And I said, yes, I'd be happy to help. And I drove a considerable distance to meet up with him. And we had a drink together in a pub somewhere and sat down for the afternoon. And he picked my brains and I gave him some advice. And I remember him saying, why didn't you do that? Because it's not leading to anything. It's not like he's offering you a job or, where's the value in that? And my response was, it's always good to do good. It's always good to do good. And who knows down the road what happens? Maybe I'll need to go to him and pick his brains one day. And lo and behold, a couple of years down the road, I'm turning to him saying, I would love it if you could come to our meeting and introduce you to the team. I'd be happy to help. And it's just interesting how things turn around. Always be willing to be generous. Always err on the side of generosity. It's always better to be kind. It's always better to be generous. And I do find that when we create that, not just in our behavior, but in our mindset and in our heart, if we can get our heart and mind aligned with that sense of deliberate abundance of kindness and generosity, I find that links to the sixth step that makes us feel worthy. Because if we don't feel worthy, we need to take action on that. One of the ways that we take action is actually by being willing to be generous, by being kind, by being compassionate, by being abundant towards other people. When we do that, that actually frees us of those limiting beliefs. So that's actually a facilitator, step 7 or step 6. But at the same time, it does also open up the gateway for the miracles to happen. Because this is a people-centered network environment, isn't it? The networking is all about building relationships. When we're generous with others, that will come back to us into our business in wonderful, unique, and authentic ways. So I hope this has helped. I hope as you come away from today's call that you reflect on what your vision is, what your dreams are, that you take some time to reflect on what you're currently achieving, what you can do differently, and then look through these 7 steps and just see, is there something that I can do different here and now that will bring me closer to my dream? I'm confident there is, because there's something there for each of us, me included, as to where we can step up and be better. Yeah, that's there for every one of us. So I want to say thank you. I want to say I'm grateful for everyone, especially those that I work with and mentor, that come to me for help and saying, how do I get to this particular goal? Or I'm struggling with this particular step. Never feel uncomfortable or embarrassed when you're stuck and you need help. Never, ever. Even if you've made some big goals and you've crashed wonderfully and dramatically on your face, yeah? And that makes you feel incredibly embarrassed and uncomfortable. Don't ever be. You should never feel that way with me or with any other of our leaders, because our goal, like I said, as a mentor, as a coach in this business, is to be your greatest cheerleader. And we do that with love and with a great desire to see you succeed. We're here to help you pick yourself back up and keep moving forward. That's what it's about. So thank you very much. I hope this helped, and we'll speak to you again real soon. Take care.